it was 1993. I first met him. His office was, I think, on the first floor of Regal Cinema, which is an iconic building in Delhi. And I remember those days, a very young man. He still looks very young. And he was just sort of starting to dream, and he had taken over this very rundown theater in Vasant Vihar called Priya. And he was turning it around, and I never ever imagined that he would now, at this point, he owns something like 850 screens all over India. But I always knew that there was immense determination and immense fire. And I think more than anything else, a love for cinema. And I think that is really, those two things, just determination and love for cinema, have really seen him through. So Ajay, thank you so much, Ajay Bijli, for joining us today and for speaking to us. And I think we're in the midst of a very interesting moment in Indian entertainment where for the first time cinema going is seen to be almost a life-threatening experience. And we've just had a sort of a little tussle between your competitors or your friends, Inox Leisure and the Producers Guild, where Inox Leisure has accused producers of being fair weather friends, and the Producers Guild have hit back. So how do you see this whole issue? You're in the thick of it. So how do you see it?
Firstly, thank you, Kaveh, for an absolutely very, very generous introduction. And thank you for having me on this show. It's wonderful. So, this just coming straight to your question, OTT platforms have been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the US exhibition industry has coexisted for the last 10 years now. And box office collections and admissions, that's the number of people who go to the cinemas, has only increased over the years despite OTT being there. So I think the current threat of OTT that people are talking about is slightly exaggerated. And I'm not saying it because of it being a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I'm in the business and I want to make the business look very good. It's simply because both have their own place in the sun, so to speak. I also love watching TV shows on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hotstar. But at the same time, it's just human nature to also go out and entertain yourselves. So we are at a stage which is an aberration completely. This has never happened in the last 100 years that, things have come to this kind of a situation. So cinemas are shut currently, they're closed. So I think when a cinema is, so one platform is closed. So to compare, a lot of people are making comparisons between a closed platform, which is a retired herd sportsman, and a sportsman is still on the field. So I think that's where I get a little disturbed, because I believe that, and to clarify to everybody, that you don't really, we are disappointed, of course, that some people have gone to the OTT platform and released movies which are meant for theaters. But I also am sensitive to their needs, because if the cinemas are shut and they've already made the movie, what are they going to do? Right. So I don't think in the long run they will do this. The moment the cinemas open, they're bound to come back to the original windowing, which happened, which is the movie gets released theatrically first, and then it gets released on the OTT platforms and satellite. So you are able to monetize the full potential of the content that gets created much better if you release it theatrically. A lot of movies of last year, which are small, like Kabir Singh, Razi, Badhai Ho, Andhadhun, Dream Girl, Bala, Article 15. People don't realize that these were never big budget movies anyway, but yet they ended up doing exceedingly well. So it is in the interest of the producer also. Even the producer realizes that he will be leaving a lot of revenue potential of the movie on the table if he goes straight to OTT. So these are unusual times, and therefore there are producers who are releasing the movie like this. At the same time, India is a very fragmented market. It is not like the US, where you only have 5 studios, 6 before Disney acquired 20th Century Fox. You pick up the phone, talk to 5 studio heads, and everybody knows where everybody stands, and they support a theatrical business. Here it's very fragmented. About 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 films get through the system. You have South India, which got Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada. You got Punjabi, Marathi, Hindi happening.
Right.
Very, very fragmented. Mom and pop and son, all sorts of things happening. So it's difficult to control and request everybody. That's all we can do because we're closed. My shutters are down.
Yeah.
But if somebody goes out and releases, that's fine. We expressed our disappointment as well. How Inox seriously reacted, that's their prerogative. I don't think I'm in a position to comment on that. But we also said that we were disappointed, but at the same time, understand. We want them to make money, to be honest with you. Only if they make money will they make better content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's precisely, I spoke to Shujit Sarkar, who's, as you know, the director and co-producer of Gulabo Sitabo, which is one of the big films that Amazon has acquired. And he said, the film was ready to release and I had a platform that was taking me to 200 countries. I said, why not, So that is their attitude. And I suppose, as you said, you understand that. But coming back to the point, Ajay, that you made about India being a fragmented market. Now, different parts of the country will also open differently. I believe in South India, where much of the New Indian Express readership is based, screens that are not in multiplexes will be allowed with certain precautions, with certain protocols by the middle of June. So there'll be a staggered opening as well. So how do you handle a big release with such a staggered opening?
Yeah, you see, there are certain films which are only meant for a certain segment of the market. PVR is spread out throughout the country. We have almost out of 850 odd screens, about 250 to 300 screens in Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Karnataka down south. And and that's a very robust industry.
Yeah.
And they are not, those movies are not meant in the sense they're generally, unless they're dubbed, the maximum amount of revenues they get is from that market itself. So I think if they open up, then definitely they will go ahead and release their movies full throng. And the appetite to watch movies in these states is far more than the appetite to watch movies and the frequency per annum in North and West and the East. But definitely you're absolutely spot on. If a movie like Suryavanshi has to be released, or a movie like 83 has to be released, or a movie like Rathi or Coolie Number One, which cuts across the entire country, then everything has to open.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hopeful because there are lots of forces working with us. I'm not the only one. Even the mall operators, the shopping centers all over the country, people like DLF, Prestige, Phoenix, so many mall operators all over the country. They are also very keen that the multiplexes also open when their permission is given to them. So I think as anchor tenants who attract a lot of footfall, I think we are pushing the government to give us permission. Of course, with social distancing norms and stuff like that. So are our developers pushing that in phase 1 you may open retail, but in phase 2, along with the restaurants and food courts, please also allow cinemas to open.
Right.
I think from that point of view, I think it's a matter of time. This lockdown has got extended to May 31st now. But I think that by mid-June, I know some states, like Kerala has already opened one mall in Kochi.
Okay.
And I think in 15 June to 15 July is my feeling that most of the cinemas and states will open up. Of course, Bombay is a very big territory, so it's important Bombay opens up as well. Delhi is a big territory that opens up, but the CM in Delhi looks pretty determined to open. So I think there will be some, but you're absolutely right. Once they open up, we are okay, and these movies will have some post-production to happen anyway. The shooting haven't started, all that. So I'm as keen for the shooting to start as well as I'm. We are joined at the hip. So I've been in the business, sorry to say this, for about 31 years now.
Same as me on the other side.
I have to look at everything, right? I can't just be myopic and only talk about exhibition business. I'm also very keen that the filmmakers should be allowed very quickly to get their act together and be able to shoot and finish the movies, because the content flow is very important for me as well. So I think...
Sorry, but that I think will take a little more time than the opening of theaters from the looks of it, because the kind of social distancing measures you require for a set do seem to be quite a lot more stringent than the ones for cinema viewing. What is your feeling?
It depends on what stage the movie is at, because some
Okay.
movies the shooting has started and only post-production is left.
Right.
So as I said, India's got lots of movies. So and it depends on the scale of the movie. Is it a
Right.
big film which requires a lot of cast? Is it a CG-oriented movie? So it depends on what kind of movie it is. But what kind of shooting it requires.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it's a matter of time, because we are in touch with the Producers Guild as well, and they will be opening up as well. So I think, I mean,
Right.
without trying to digress, my point is that there are a lot of movies which are bunched up together, which are
Yeah.
absolutely at the last stage of finishing. If we open
Right.
between 15 June to 15 July, by the time, the machinery gets sort of oiled again and everybody
Yeah.
realizes how it is, I think we'll have a good
Right.
movies coming. Just to mention one last point is about Hollywood films. Hollywood
Yeah.
films like,
Very important.
yeah, the
Let's talk about Tenet, because
Tenet has
Christopher
gone
Nolan.
again. So Tenet, for me, what Christopher Nolan is doing, what a lot of producers are also planning to do in India. So people,
Right.
when you talk to Akshay, when you talk to Rohit Shetty, and you talk to people like Kabir Khan,
Right.
they're also planning to do the same thing what Christopher Nolan is doing to Tenet in the US,
Yeah.
because they realize that if you have to hit the road running, the
Right.
cinemas need new content, and they are doing that. So I said these big movies are also slated to come anything between mid-July to mid-August. Then there is Wonder Woman, there is movies like Fast and the Furious, there is the Top Gun, there's James Bond film. So I think the lineup is tremendous, and India Hollywood movies do very well anyway, which are dubbable and which are mass and which are tentpole blockbuster type movies. So I think when we open up completely, I think people will come back and movies will start coming and the normal course will start.
Let's talk a little about how will we watch these movies now. Will it be a fundamental change? You talked a little earlier to me about cluster seating as opposed to the kind of seating that you'll have. You talked about the way people will be, the way the environment will be sanitized, etc. Just walk us through how movie viewing will be in the post-COVID world.
Yeah. So, we've sent some guidelines to all the state governments,
Right.
and we also benchmarked ourselves, our protocols and SOPs and guidelines with not only cinema operators all over the world, but also with hospitality, restaurants, airlines, and all that.
Right.
And keeping everything in mind, we felt that the touch points need to be reduced. That's one thing that we felt, that so box office can be fully digitized. You
Right.
book your ticket online and you get a QR code, and you don't have to go to the box office.
Right.
Wherever there are box offices, we will encourage credit card transactions. There will be a distance, there'll be a screen or a glass which partitions, in any case, consumer,
There is.
the people who are selling the tickets. At the security point is the second touch point. We will not have handheld metal detectors. We will have door frame. We call them DFMDs, so that there's no touch point. We will have temperature control to control to see the temperature of the people who are coming. Then we will, obviously all our staff is going to be wearing masks and gloves and stuff like that.
Right.
Even at the concession counter, at the where we sell food and beverage, there again we will be having what you call a glass partition or a perspex sheet partition for the transaction. Again, a lot of it will be digitized, and we will make sure they can order online and then deliver to the seat. Then even the washrooms and all, we will have those sensor-based faucets and stuff like that, so that touch points get reduced. Goes without saying, all the foyers, everywhere, there'll be marks of 1 meter distance and stuff like that. Handles, we're putting antibacterial films and stuff like that. Bulk of the time is going to be spent in the auditoriums. And this is where it gets very interesting, because a lot of studies have shown that actually nowhere, touch wood, this corona has spread pre-lockdown globally. There was a recent study done by some Johns Hopkins fellow. Nothing has ever happened in a cinema, because people are actually looking at a screen. and they are not looking at each other, because bulk of the time is spent inside the auditorium. Having said that, even inside, people will be wearing masks. That's what people, even the consumers. And what we'll do is we'll do a staggered seating, which means that if you're already living in your house of 4 people, or 2 people, 3 people, then you're not going to want to have one seat gap between each other. So clusters of 4, 5, 3, as you buy the tickets, will sit together, and automatically the ticketing system will leave 2 seats adjacent empty. So that will be in the normal auditorium. In the luxury auditoriums where recliners are, in any case, our legroom seat width is 2 meters, and width is more than roughly a meter. So you're fine on the recliners anyway. So I think that's what is going to be the norm. During exits, we'll make sure that there are staggered show timings. So that's, and I also believe from the other side of my mouth that everyone is going to behave differently. Even today, people are behaving differently. Even in the partial lockdown, which is open from 7 to 7, some people are completely, going out and saying we are fine. We just can't remain incarcerated in our homes. We want to get out. Okay. And so bulk of my customer is young anyway, 12 to 34, 12 to 40 maximum. So that forms about bulk of our customers. So they want to go out anyway. And I think they are a little more resilient, and they're a little less vulnerable, if studies are to be proved, to this coronavirus. So I think it's a period of opening up to the time when vaccination comes, that some changes will happen. I don't want to make too many structural changes. I want to make sure these are all soft changes and digital changes, because I think the structure is there forever. And I don't think we can do anything structural to the cinema now. And we shouldn't be, because a temporary thing, it has come, it will go away. Even if it stays, it will stay in a way where people will get used to it. I think the big screen experience should not be tampered with too much. Only the software issue should be taken care of. And that's what we'll do. And obviously, employee protocols is one more point. I'm only speaking from memory.
Of course.
And if I miss on a point, that doesn't mean that.
Of course.
And employee protocols we are going to be following. In fact, I was in touch with Dr. Trehan as well. Talk to Medanta, talk to Apollo, get some ideas whether we're doing the right thing as far as our own employees are concerned, regular checkups, and stuff like that. So whatever we can do to make the people feel safe and secure is what we'll do, whatever the best standards in the world are.
Right. And Ajay, but will we at some point lose the magic of movies? This all sounds wonderful. And of course, I think it also means a lot of investment on your part. We'll talk a little about that, because this is not happening free, right? And you're all shut at this point, and yet you have to make these changes. So it means that you are taking a huge hit, I imagine. But some of it almost sounds like a sci-fi movie, So will we be in this sci-fi movie while watching a movie up there?
I don't think so. As I said, it's a temporary thing till such time that we all believe in the human race. We all believe in the medical fraternity, the scientists, the experts all over the world. They're relentless in their pursuit to find us a vaccine, a vaccination.
That's right.
So I think all this is a temporary phase. There is going to be trepidation. There is going to be circumspection till such time people know that they can get medically cured, or they can prevent this from happening. So basically, this is going to be a temporary measure. This time, we get used to this. Right. And the other thing is that I don't think magical movies is going to go away, Kaveri. I'm very, very sure about that. Because there's 2 engines which have kept us going all this while. And history has shown, and you're an avid reader, that after 1918, Spanish flu, Great Depression, World Wars, the 2008, one thing that bounced back like crazy was movie going, because it's a very low hanging fruit. It's a very affordable, leisure, sort of quick fix that people get, especially in India. Other things, unfortunately, holidays, buying appliances, expensive things, airline, all that travel, unfortunately, gets impacted till such time people get their discretionary income back. But a small ticket price, all over the country, the ticket price is still sub 100.
Right.
Okay. People don't mind the 2 hours, whatever. So I think I believe in the consumer a lot in India. Their out-of-home entertainment is still number 1. So that's one engine. Right. The other engine, I believe, is the film fraternity. the film
Yes.
fraternity will continue to make movies for the big screen.
Yeah.
They spend so much money, 10 to 12 months. My own daughter is making with Karan and with Ayan and Veer Alia Brahmastra.
Oh,
And
really? Is she involved in that?
yeah, she's involved
Oh
in
my
that.
God. When does she know when it's going to be finished?
Yeah, so that question I'm not supposed to ask in the house.
It's a touchy topic.
That's the topic. So, but I'm just saying that so much effort and labor of love is put behind these films
Right.
that they are not looking for a 10% return by quickly sending it to the OTT platform.
Right.
Let me tell you that. And
Yeah.
secondly, the OTT platforms are also investing just now. Okay, they
Yeah.
want, because their long form entertainment is also, the shooting has stopped. So all
Yeah.
your Crowns of the world, the Game of
Yeah.
Thrones of the world, so content is not new anyway. So they're
Right.
also investing in making sure some new content comes to them. This is not a sustainable model at all.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't pay so much for content, that it takes care of all other revenue platforms as well. Overseas goes, for example, Sujit has
Yeah.
said sold it for a good price or whatever, I don't know. But I'm
Yeah.
saying overseas is shut.
Yeah.
Music is shut completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So therefore, the moment you sell to OTT, all these things don't happen. That's one. Second is that when you play the movie in a cinema, there's no cap. The movie can run forever. The
Yeah.
movie can run for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can
Like DDLJ and Maratha Mandir.
yeah. I mean,
Forever.
even smaller films recently,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
movie like Uri just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you're shutting the gap. So I mean, it's, as I said, it's disappointing that that we are shut currently. Otherwise, when we are open, I feel, and a lot of producers I've spoken to as well, they are waiting for big screen to open and bring their movies back on the screen. So I don't think the magic is going to go.
And Ajay, talk a little about the magic of Hollywood as well. Of late, we've seen Hollywood movies doing very well. What percentage of revenue do they earn compared to Indian movies in India? You probably know the figure.
Well, you see, Indian films are still about 90%, maybe 88%, 89%. The numbers change because, so we're still very dominated by local content, which is very, very good.
Right.
In fact, for Hollywood to release a movie, all, cinemas have to open all over the world,
Right.
And whereas for India to release a movie, only the cinemas in India have to open, and
Yeah.
some diaspora markets like Middle East, US, and UK.
Right.
But what has happened is that the movies are being made by the studios for an international audience now.
Yes.
So they're very easy to understand, So
Yeah.
you don't have to really become an Einstein to understand. Sorry for the cliche, to understand like a end of Avengers or Fast and the Furious or all that. So the overseas collections are bigger.
Right.
So when they come to India, they dub the movies in various languages. So I think movies are getting released like an Indian film now. So in absolute terms, the collections are increasing.
Yeah.
But as a percentage, because Indian films are so many, and as I said, all across languages. So I think as a percentage, we're still very high. It's still about 88, 89, 90% box office is still Indian films. But the absolute share is increasing of the Hollywood films.
And you yourself said that you've spent some time with the Hollywood majors because you quite often go to Los Angeles, and they really do believe in the big screen experience. And Christopher Nolan also wrote so beautifully about the being that collective in the dark and sort of sharing that we were there for each other. It was a lovely line.
Correct.
So, how much of that is going to sort of impact the way the world will also see movies? Because it is really an experience that all of us love to share, right?
Yeah. You see, out of so many first-hand experiences for Indian market, I think out-of-home entertainment, cinema still is the number one form of entertainment. So I think, and it's again, as I said, not only because the consumer loves to go out and experience it. I mean, all the technology that we are putting in, people say we are not digital. All our screens became digital ages ago, right? So, seat, leg room, environment, wow factor, food, the whole experience people just love. So I think my bet is on the human race. My bet is that people are not designed, are not created to stay at home like this. they are created to do that. On the other hand, not just for nostalgic reasons, Christopher Nolan is saying that. Okay, in his statement, it goes down the nostalgia path a little bit. It's also for economic reasons.
Yeah.
Because 60% of the revenues, or 60 to 70% of the revenues of any content that gets created still comes from theatrical. So I think economically also it becomes like the bellwether, to actually then define the rest of the revenue streams. So I think these are the two main reasons why it will happen. And as I said, there is going to be trepidation, there is going to be circumspection. People are going to be tentative to begin with, but after some time, it will all fall in place, is my belief. And as I said, because most of my customers are young, people who go to watch movies, they also believe that they want to get out and they want to watch the big stars on the big screen.
Yes, I mean, if you have Suryavanshi, which is Akshay Kumar and Ajay Devgan and Ranveer Singh, I mean, what would you do? You do, I suppose, want to go out and, and it's Rohit Shetty, who's a star by himself. And those big explosions and those big cars. I don't suppose you want to sit at home and watch it. Or Tenet. Of course, nobody knows what Tenet is about. Do you know? Except that, is it a time traveling spy movie? What is it? It has Dimple Kapadia, I know that much.
No, to be honest, I don't know that much, but I definitely know that my family will not be very happy with that answer that I've just given. They're all movie buffs.
Yeah. Although your wife is a doctor, let's put it out there, Ajay. So you have an insight into the medical crisis that we face as well, because she trained to be a doctor, right?
Yeah, trained, but she's not practicing now.
Yeah, but a doctor is always a doctor.
But just coming back to Tenet, I would say because Christopher Nolan actually makes movies for the big screen. All his movies like Inception and the last one, Dunkirk.
Yeah.
All his movies that have come, they've all been a cinematic experience. He's very big on IMAX. He's very big on big screen entertainment. So I have no reason to believe that Tenet is not going to be like that, because those are the kind of films that he makes, and which is the reason why he's waiting for the big screens to open.
Right. We have a few questions for you, Ajay. 1 second. Let me just put them on. From Devashish Poddar, can we ever sit together and watch a movie in a cinema for the next year?
Devashish Poddar, is this my friend Devashish?
Oh, really? Is he a friend of yours? Okay, so good.
Your friend whose name is Devashish Poddar.
Okay.
He just pick up the phone and call me.
So he wants to ask you on... Yeah, I think he's based in Calcutta. Is he,
okay,
is he the same one?
No, there's another Devashish in Delhi.
Okay.
No, as I said, definitely, and I'm not saying it because it's my business. Definitely people will go and watch. As I said, initially they'll be watching with this staggered seating that I spoke about, where a group of two couples, families, they can all go together. An adjacent seat will be left empty. And of course, they'll be wearing their masks. Our people will be masked. Cleanliness is going to be heavily done, and movies are going to be brand new, and air conditioning systems are also going to be purified. Everything that is possible to be done will be done to make them feel secure. So temporarily, that's how they will watch, and very soon, as I said, maybe 6 to 8 months from now, I think people will come back to their normalcy. I'm hoping as well, because I'm not an epidemiologist or anything like that.
Yeah.
And
we have a very important question. Will ticket prices go up after theaters open? Big question. Everyone wants to know.
Ticket prices, first of all, I must say, is according to me, I think I'm going to get hammered when I say this, are not high anyway. People take that.
They are.
Kaveri, I thought you were on my side, no? So basically, the average ticket price in India is about 60 to 70 rupees. That's the average ticket price across 9,000 screens. Right. The average price of, I think INOX is about 180 bucks and PVR is about 200. If you look at we're all listed companies, if you look at the last year balance sheet. People take the weekend pricing of very premium cinemas as their benchmark, because people like you and people who are working all the time, they only go on the weekends. So that's the pricing they take. They also take
I go first day, first show.
Okay. So that's again Friday. So
Yeah.
Monday to Thursday pricing is low. So, and we are spread all across the country now. We are in
Right.
Nanded, Ujjain, so many places, Batinda, Patiala, Panipat, Amritsar,
Yeah.
Chandigarh, down south, so many places. So therefore, people who we are talking to, the ticket price is a function of where you are.
Yeah.
Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala has got a price control anyway. You can't charge more than 150, 160 rupees, which is the reason why I'm giving a slightly longish answer.
Right.
Having said that, definitely we will not have any deterrent in the minds of the consumer. If there is some tweaking that needs to be done to the pricing, we will do. We want people to come in hordes. We want
Right.
people to bounce back and make sure the cinemas hit the road running. So no
Right.
deterrent at all. We'll keep consumer is king. As simple as that.
Ajay, you're also talking to someone who's a little old, so remembers the 20 rupee ticket at Priya for the JNU student. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The Basant Lok Priya had this 20 rupee ticket. So,
Be-
yeah.
Before you start talking about the orange bar for 50 paisa, I must tell you that the world has changed since then.
I
The whole
know.
format has changed since then.
Yeah.
We're leasing spaces. Earlier, people used to run single screen cinemas and they used to lease spaces.
Yeah.
There was no notional value of taken of the cinema, of the real estate, because people
Right.
who owned the cinemas ran the
Yeah.
cinemas.
Yeah.
And also, 1,000 seats used to have one projection system.
Yeah.
Now 1,000 seats has got four projection system, four sound
Exactly.
system. So there's been a huge enhancement
Absolutely.
from the quality of viewing. I hope people have noticed that.
Of course. And that's why it's such a staple. I mean, why are people missing it? Because it was just done so well. I mean, going to a PVR was always an experience, and it remained that. To remain fresh and to remain exciting for the viewer is not an easy thing. So I think the exhibitors have done remarkably. And you've also, of course, you've added to the experience in so many different ways. So no doubt about that. Before we start talking, as you said, about the orange part for 50 paise. But we have a question from, one second, I've just lost it. Yeah. This is from Kavita in, I don't know where she's from, maybe Calcutta. I was wondering why PVR hasn't thought of opening its own OTT platform. People may not want to head back to theaters so soon, even with safety protocols in place. So why not start your own? I think she means OTT platform.
Yeah.
Why not start your own?
Look, OTT platform is a very different business altogether, and some very deep-pocketed players, Netflix, Amazon, Hotstar, Disney. Now HBO has come.
Yeah.
So many people are already there. It's a very crowded space.
Yeah.
And so we can't get into it in a hurry like this.
Yeah.
We've always believed in doing one thing and trying to do it very well.
We've
always believed in out-of-home entertainment. These analogies are all very cliche: kitchen versus restaurant, various things versus what's happening outside. So we believed in the outside. You can do a lot of things at home. You can even listen to a Coldplay music, on your iPad, but the iPod. But at the same time, the experience of going and watching a live performance of Coldplay is phenomenal. So I think we've always been focused on the out-of-home entertainment, and which is the reason why we've never focused on OTT platform. And again, nothing in this period should be done knee-jerk. This is an aberration period. I think aberration period, all over the world, people can think about things, but I don't think we'll be implementing anything just now. Is my, in fact, my advice to all entrepreneurs as well. You can think through things, what you should be doing, but not take any knee-jerk reactions to straight away change the boat of your shape, what you've done all this while for 30 years. Suddenly you can't,
What have you been thinking about, Ajay, all this while, apart from, of course, calling people and, sort of checking out when they're releasing movies, what's happening? Apart from that, what have you been doing?
No, a lot actually. I've just been non-stop at it because it's a large organization. We have 50,000 people. People have to be motivated. We have developers, 177, 180 odd developers, where we have malls. In the malls, we have multiplexes. We have to be in touch with them to make sure that they are opening, and all sorts of stuff is happening with them also. We're very busy with the government. although that that fell on deaf ears, to give some benefit to the industry. It was very obvious that our industry was the first one to get impacted, alongside with airlines and hospitality. So been very busy trying to be in various forums like FICCI, CII directly, trying to reach out to the government, but nothing has come out of it at all. So been busy with all these. So film fraternity is only one facet of what we've been doing, but I think there's a lot, lot else that needed to be done, and which has kept us really, really busy. Because when we do open again, cinema reimagined, all the SOPs. Been talking to all the. I'm part of the Global Cinema Federation of NATO, which is National Association of Theatre Owners, trying to benchmark with them, seeing what's happening, and stuff like that.
And how to sell it to the viewer again? How to sort of attract him or her to the theatre again. That in itself, is something that you've been working on. But you will have to sell it a bit, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, when we get an indication, I think there's no point making too much effort just now. I think now through these forums, through communicating on the various channels and stuff like that, we are reaching out to customers. We have about 20 million people. Half of them are on online platform of PVR, and half of them are our loyalty customers. So we are regularly in touch with them, but only once we get an indication when we'll be opening is when we will start our efforts to explain to them how the cinema experience will be. As I said, nothing is going to happen to the structural cinema the way it is built, but so that people get a little reassured and a little confident about coming back to the cinema. So at an appropriate time across the country, we will communicate digitally. And also when we get when we get to know which movies are coming, how the cinemas are opening, which state first, that's how we will be doing.
There's another question. Will watching 3D movies take a hit with all the contact regulations? Obviously a 3D fan.
No, the thing that we've decided to do as part of our post-lockdown opening SOP is that we're not going to be, now you have to buy a 3D glass, pair of glasses. So it's yours then, rather than borrowing it. Initially you could hire it and rent it and stuff like that. Now we have this international, with international packaging, 3D glasses of very high quality, which we will be selling to the consumer. Then consumers can own it. So I think then that sharing part will get reduced.
So that should, I think, help things.
Yeah, absolutely.
What have you been watching during this time, Ajay? I have to ask you. And you can be generous about OTT. It's okay.
No. I, as I said, I'm a big OTT fan. There's no problem. Both have always coexisted, and I'm no issue. I watched some old films. I went back to watching a lot of Spielberg movies. So last night, in fact, I once again saw The Post.
Lovely.
Meryl Streep and
Tom Hanks. Yeah.
And then prior to that, I watched All the President's Men, because in fact, the last scene of All the President's Men, the last scene of Post is the first scene of All the President's Men.
Yes, it is.
So I've been watching a lot of classics that I felt like watching once again. So Gladiator I saw. Then
wow, what a film that was.
Yeah.
Again, you can't imagine watching it on the small screen.
Correct.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So I was, watching these old classics that I felt like seeing once again. Godfather 1 and 2 again I saw. Then again I went see Untouchables, some Sean Connery films, a lot of Spielberg stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think all the masters who have got us to this point where we love the movie so much that we'll do anything to get back to the theaters, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, Ajay.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you all the best and can't wait to be back with my single seat at the corner at PVR Chanakya.
Absolutely. And please do let me know when you go. It'll be a pleasure.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you.